So I'm hoping if I read this during my school season, it'll make me less sad that I'm in school. Hello and welcome to today's video, which is my fall TBR. I needed to film a fall TBR. I've never done TBR videos because I typically don't stick to my TBRs. I'm very much a mood reader. Yeah, let's just get into this. So the first book series I want to read in fall is the ACOTAR series. I am actually rereading the first one right now, and I'd love to reread the whole entire series by the end of winter and annotate them. Let me know if you guys would like to see a reading vlog for your favorites of that series, me annotating them, or maybe an annotation flip through. You can let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see that, especially when we get to the later books. It gives me such fall vibes. The Night Court, I don't even know. It's just, I love it. Fairies give me fall vibes for some reason. Alright, so the next book I really want to read this fall is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is a dark academia book set in a university in New England, and I've heard so many people love this book, and the dark academia setting is very fall to me. And this cover is like my favorite cover I've ever seen. I don't know why, I'm just obsessed with this cover. So I'm hoping if I read this during my school season, it'll make me less sad that I'm in school. So yes. I also would really love to read Ariadne this fall. I'm not really sure when this is set, if it's summer or fall. I just know it's a Greek a story about Greek mythology. This cover, the colors, the brown, the blue, the kind of golden hues. I just am really hoping to read it. It's been kind of in my TBR for a little while, and I love Greek retellings, but I was in a really huge romance phase over the summer. Also, by the way, this video is going to kind of get a little bit repetitive because I'm just going to keep saying I'd kind of like to pick this up soon because that's what this video is about. So I'm going to try and say other stuff that's different. So I'd also like to read Frankenstein during the fall. Frankenstein, you know, monsters. Typically think of that green guy with bolts in his head, even though I know that's not what Frankenstein is about. I'm trying to get more into classics. I think this would be a perfect one to read around Halloween in October. I've read some other classics, a lot of Shakespeare, Jane Austen, some plays, you know, just the basic classics. So this is a basic classic to me. But I'd really also love to get to this. Moving on to kind of the opposite genre of classics, I've got children's kind of book, and it's Howl's Moving Castle. This is a lot of people's favorite Studio Ghibli, I don't know how you say it, film, movie. So I'd really love to read the book and watch the movie. This is something that I want to read specifically in fall. I have no idea what it's about, so I don't even know if it's like fall related. I think the cover gives me kind of like an autumn vibe. Low-key, it also gives summer, but I don't know. I don't really have an explanation for this. I just wanted to. I'm not going to tell you much about what the book's about because I typically don't read the back or like to know anything about my books before I start them. I kind of like to go in blind. So a lot of the times, this is why I don't do a TBR, because I'm not like recommending anything. I'm just kind of saying like, oh yeah, I want to pick this up, which I feel like doesn't benefit people, but I'm trying it out. I'm trying out the TBR format. Let me know if you like it and enjoy it. The next book I want to read this fall I got pretty recently, and it's called The Shadow of the Wind. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day, and I was just kind of looking at our staff picks table, like the staff picks table, and this Barnes & Noble worker came up to me, and he was like, what do you like to read? I said, oh, you know, kind of like fantasy, some romance, and I just recently got into literary fiction. And he was like, oh, I have a recommendation for you. And he picks this book up off the staff table, and he was like, this is a kind of mix between fantasy and literary fiction, and everybody at this bookstore that works here has really loved it. And this other lady who worked there came up and started talking to me about it too, and she's like, yeah, the last Barnes & Noble I worked at, this was like our staff read for a month or whatever, and everyone really agreed on how good it was. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it out, since I had no idea what other literary fiction books I'd like to pick up. I really don't know where to go with that genre because it's such a large genre. So when I got this recommendation, I was like, okay, sure, I'll pick it up. All I know is that it's about this boy in Barcelona in 1945. It has something to do with a book dealer, like an antique book dealer, and that the boy is his son, and we're following the boy. And that's all I know about it, and that's something I'd really like to learn about. So I thought this was a cool recommendation. Then another one I got quite recently is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I don't know what this is about either, but I've heard it's a really good, kind of more classic read. Pretty sure it's sci-fi, but I don't know why I love this cover so much. I actually bought this on Pango, and I thought it was going to be way bigger, like a normal size book, rather than like this pocket size, like mass market paperback version. But that's okay. That's my fault for not reading the description. I thought it would be kind of a fun read for fall since it's sci-fi. That's more of a genre I typically read in the fall. The next book I wanted to read was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is actually something I've picked up before, but I couldn't get into it. I don't think I was in the mood for it at the time, but I've read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo and I really enjoyed those books and I really enjoyed her writing. So I wanted to give this a try. This is another dark academia school setting, and I'm pretty sure it's like it's in New Haven. Obviously, Yale's a prestigious school. I think it's like some kind of cult. But I tried to read it one time, couldn't get into it. So this is going to be my second go around, and if I can't get into it this time, then it's going to be a DNF. I also really wanted to get to Vicious by V.E. Schwab. There's a few other V.E. Schwab books that I really like to read in the fall time as well. I feel like she's a great author to read during the fall. She does a lot of good fantasy, kind of fantasy mystery, really dark books, so thought it would be cool. I've actually started reading this before for school and partially annotated it. I had to read a book, do a report on it, but I in fact did the report before I finished the book, so I just stopped reading it after I finished. It wasn't bad, I just wasn't really into the genre at that moment. It was too dark. I was kind of feeling more of a romance. I'd also really love to read Verity by Colleen Hoover. It just has more of a thriller kind of plotline, but mainly focused on a romance. A lot of my friends really loved this book. They said it was really creepy and kind of disturbing, something they couldn't read at night. So I was like, this is perfect for the fall time. You know, I've read Colleen Hoover before. I like her writing. She's a really easy author to read. And then the last book I'd love to read this month is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I've heard this is a really cute romance, kind of witchy book to read, and I would love to read this around Halloween as well. I think this would just be a super cute break from all the kind of darker books I'm reading in the fall time. It might still be dark, I have no idea, but it's about a witch who falls in love with somebody. And that's all I know. I found this at my local used bookstore. It's a book of the month book. That is in fact the last book I have on my fall TBR. I really hope you enjoyed this video, my first TBR ever. Let me know what you're planning on reading this fall. Let me know some of the fall books that you're really anticipating, like new releases and stuff. Hope you had an amazing time watching this video. If you did, feel free to subscribe if you'd like. I just got to 300, which I know is like literally such a small number compared to a lot of people, but I'm actually really grateful. I literally didn't even think I was gonna get above 50. Like, my goal was to have 50 subscribers by the end of the year, and it's only September and I have 300, which is super weird to me. But thank you for everybody who subscribed, and I really appreciate it. So that's super nice. Leave any comment down below. I'd love to talk in the comments, and I hope you guys are having a great beginning of fall, end of summer season. I hope if you started school, it's going well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.